This is exhilarating. Get excited.
I actually have a pretty okay history with sports.
Sports? Seriously?
Specifically, when I was a kid, there was this. We had soccer back in the day, or football, like European football, or like worldwide football, because it's like there's football and then there's gridiron football, which is like American football. But yeah, football. We actually, like soccer, we played that whenever I was in like kindergarten and first grade. And yeah, it was actually a pretty fun time. I remembered I was a goalkeeper throughout like first half of the season, and then eventually I got out on the field, and actually there was a game we played. Our team was mostly girls. Like, it was like me, two other guys, and then like 5 girls. And then there was this one team called the Yellow Jackets. It was all boys, and they were undefeated the whole season. And then, lo and behold, we beat them 3-2. And I was just like, and as a kid, I was like really excited. I was like, yeah! And then, of course, basketball, same deal. We did a team, we in like 3rd grade, it was like the Supersonics. We call ourselves, like, we were green, and we finished the season like 16-0-1. We tied one game, and we won the championship. That was really cool. Football, I got into gymnastics as well, and gymnastics, I know some people don't consider that a sport, but if it's not a sport, then why is it in the Olympics? All I gotta say. But anyway, I did gymnastics, and I really wish I would have stayed in gymnastics. Because when I joined football, my dad basically made me like lift, like try to gain a bunch of weight, and it really messed me up. And not only that, but my shoulder, my knee, and my back all hurt because of my time in football. So, yeah, needless to say, I've had a pretty good history with sports. Apparently, Becca hasn't had the same deal. How about you, Nick? What's your?
Not very good.
Well.
Like Pee Wee basketball, never once understood anything that was going on other than you have to dribble it when you move.
Yeah.
None of my teammates would ever give me the ball, so.
Yeah,
And played t-ball. It was okay, but it was boring as shit when you weren't hitting the ball. I played baseball. It was okay, but people were bullies, would actually beat you with the ball on purpose when you were at bat, throw sand in your eyes if you were the catcher, which I was. And the coaches would never let you pitch, even though you took pitching lessons and could pitch better than anybody else on the team because their sons were the pitchers. And I played golf. Golf is pretty cool.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. For the most part, I've not had a great relationship with sports.
I pitched once whenever I was in minor league. I was mainly like third base or outfielder. And I tried to convince my dad, because me and my dad did like pitching lessons and all that, and I was getting pretty good at it. And I don't know what it was, but I walked 2 batters, and then eventually my coach switched us out. But I threw strikes at least. I threw some strikes, so I guess there's that. But I walked 2 batters, and then that was that. But I was a pretty good hitter in baseball. But overall, I would say my favorite sport that I played growing up was probably basketball. And then I'd say football right after that. But I would say like the one that I really wish I would have stuck with, because I enjoyed it most of all, was gymnastics. I was actually inspired. I know I don't look like an athlete, but I actually can like still do a cartwheel, and I can actually when I was in gymnastics, I could do a back handspring and a backflip. So I was actually able to do that, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I actually did it because truth be told, I wanted to do flips like I saw in Power Rangers. If I'm being honest, that's why I started it. But eventually, I learned to love it for like actually more than just that. But
yeah, the only physical activity I really ever thoroughly enjoyed was Dance Dance Revolution.
hey, nothing wrong with that, dude. DDR, love DDR. But all right, my rather terrible history with sports by Becca, aka Let Me Explain Studios, with almost 5 million subs, which still is awesome. And all right, Becca.
She's just back from a long break.
Yeah. So the Witch of the Woods has returned. You ready? Let's go. Aw, Charlie.
Oh, hey, explainers and entertainers. Glad you're here. Was just doing a little research now that, this one has arrived. He's able to leave the treehouse, but can't, or maybe won't, follow me out of the woods. He's a lot quirkier now that he's a ghost. Oh, but we can talk about that later. Given a lot of sports are going on this time of year and none of us nerds can escape their influence on society no matter how hard we try, it all made me think of my own very complicated history with athletics. Let me explain. I showed a general disinterest in sports really early in life. While I did occasionally enjoy some backyard baseball with the neighborhood kids, I was much more motivated by creative things, like putting on plays in our living room, singing, dancing, and building things. But my parents wanted Rachel and I to be on sports teams. For some reason. I guess to teach us something.
Becca, you're in Texas.
I recently had a conversation with my parents, and I was like, yeah, I really, I didn't have any fun at all during, a lot of the sports that y'all made me do when I was a kid. And they were like, the only reason you were in those sports is because you told us you really wanted to play those.
Really?
And I was like, so you're telling me if I had at any time just been like, hey, I'm really not having fun, I'd like to quit, you would have just let me quit? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, there was apparently a severe miscommunication at some point. Because I was not aware I was just allowed to quit.
When you're a kid, you don't really think about stuff like that. Which is why I think...
I could have sworn they told me stuff like, you can't let your team down, and no, we signed you up and we paid money for stuff, so now you gotta keep doing it and stuff like that, but I guess not.
Well, in all honesty,
they're lying to me now.
Well, in all honesty, I could understand for, certain things, yes, but if after a while you're in it and you're not having fun... I remember when I stopped having fun with baseball. I stopped having fun with baseball whenever Little League was over and we got into we're going into varsity or JV and varsity ball. And I remembered I showed up and they were like, "Oh no, you're on the JV team and you don't play until next Tuesday." I'm like, "But wait, so why is that?" It's just like, we just separated out this." And I was like, "Okay, screw this." And I quit baseball. And basketball, I quit in middle school because of the fact that I don't know, I guess it wasn't as fun as because the coach that we had, Mr. Short, was an asshole and was very stern and strict. Instead of letting us have fun, instead he was all about he's cardio, conditioning, and all this, and I get it, that's important, but when we're shooting the ball around and everything, you don't just take the ball away and just tell us get on the line right now. We're running gasters. It's dude, we were shooting and we were all of us were hitting our shots. But anyway, sorry.
One of the first kids' sports that a lot of us American kids are signed up for by our parents is t-ball. What is t-ball? T-ball is basically baseball with the position of the pitcher removed. Apparently, we can't let 4-year-olds with no hand-eye coordination throw balls at other 4-year-olds holding bats
Bonk.
who also have no hand-eye coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you put a ball on a tee in front of the batter so it's super easy to hit. Even though 9 times out of 10, they end up hitting the tee and the ball bounces away awkwardly.
I actually got really good at hitting the ball off the tee. I actually hit a home run one time in t-ball, and I was really proud of myself for that. I knocked it out past the little ticker tape thing they had out there to represent the edge of the outfield, and the guy literally saw it go over. He's like, "That's a home run!" And my dad was like, "Yeah!"
The kid eventually hits the ball and you scream at them to run to first base while all the other kids are being screamed at by their adults to pick up the dang ball. Fun. In fact, it was so fun that when I was on my t-ball team, I would sit down and draw pictures in the dirt with my finger.
I wasn't.
Or dirt
I
castles.
wasn't close enough to the dirt. I was in the outfield, so I would play with the grass.
Oh gosh, for me it was like it was grass as well, but we also had like dry patches out there from when like the field had like gotten dry, and you had like that really like dry grass that you could like pile up and like make into a ball. I used to do that, but also I go back to the Game Grumps clip of Dan talking about when his parents signed him up for like t-ball when he was a kid, and it's like cut to like a grainy camera footage of like Avi zooming in on Dan in the outfield, like building dirt castles and shit, and you hear in the background, you hear Avi go, I don't think Dan is going to be an athlete.
Working on my portfolio.
T-ball is a very American first-time sport for kids, but I was curious about what other countries typically force their kids into. I asked all my non-American viewers in a community post, and after reviewing all of the data, it seems like no matter what region of the world you're from, football/soccer overwhelmingly reigns supreme. Look,
We had that.
even I did it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I shouldn't be too surprised, given the whole world loses
I
its
never
mind.
played soccer for like an hour one time with some other kids that lives down there where my aunt used to live in Elizabeth. And,
Mm-hmm.
like they were out playing, and like my aunt or mom or both were just like, "Hey, you should go play with them and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know how to do this." And they were like, "Oh, look, you do it like this." And I picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Actually got a goal, and they were like, "Hey!" And I was like, "Maybe I should have played soccer." I don't know.
Well, there's not really many soccer programs around here because it's not as like well represented in the States as it is worldwide. But yeah.
Oh, I just freaking had a memory pop back in my head I forgot about. Dude,
Oh.
me and like my next door neighbor had rollerblades, like aggressive inline.
Yeah.
And that was popular for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we played street hockey with it.
Oh,
It
dude,
was a lot
nice.
of freaking fun because he had pucks and sticks.
Yeah.
That was freaking fun.
Awesome.
We didn't actually have any actual goals, so we just marked the goal on the pavement with chalk.
Yeah, as you
Street
do.
hockey with our inline rollerblades.
As you do.
Over the dang sport every couple years. Swimming was also a very common one you guys talked about, which, hey, I just think that that's a vital human skill to have. 71% of our world is covered in water. You should probably know how to
Yeah,
swim.
you might
Even
end
I
up
was
in
on a
some
community
eventually.
Yeah.
swim team when I was a kid. Mom says I quit because I said it got too hard, but I think I just got bored. Just swimming back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
When are we playing Marco Polo?
In fact, I'm sure that's why I quit a lot of sports when I was a little kid.
I'm
They're
so
boring.
bored. Can't we play something else? It feels like we're always playing this game. Like every Saturday.
There are certain sports that I have always been bad at, like on a cosmic level. Like no matter how hard I tried or how much I practiced, I was destined to suck. Basketball was that for me in middle school.
Really? Damn.
I used to be able to make hoops as a kid, but like I've tried like as an adult, like with adult-sized goals and basketballs, never once could make it in. Like I'm just like, how the fuck do people do this? How did I used to do this? What the hell?
Well, when you're a kid, you learn this kind of shot right here, you know, because that's the only way you can really get the ball up there. Use both hands to shoot like that. Whereas when you get to a certain level, they teach you like line it up with this, and you mainly shoot with one hand. And for me, it was like getting that off and like that little like finger roll to like push it off a little bit extra at the end if you were like further back. It's about gauging the distance of just, and once you get that down, then it's just like going around the key, like going around, you know, like shooting low with a layup, shooting here at the top of the foul line, middle of the foul line. Then you can
forgot.
move back here at the 3-point line, and then if you want to, you can go around the arc.
Another sport I actually did play and I actually did like, and I liked the people that were like on my team and stuff that I hung out with to learn it and stuff was tennis.
Tennis was fun.
Because I did that in like, I think it was like middle school,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom took me over to a tennis court that had nothing to do with like our school, and it was like, there was a couple of coaches that came out, and there was like a group of like, I think like maybe 10 people like total, and like they were different ages. Like there was a couple there that probably were like freshmen in high school, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all really So that's where I remember like telling you the story about like I was like they were like, what do you watch on TV lately? And I was like, I kind of like Cartoon Network and stuff. And it's like I've been really enjoying stuff like Courage the Cowardly Dog and the Powerpuff Girls. And then the one went, hey, Powerpuff Girls, and that older guy went, hey, there's nothing wrong with the Powerpuff Girls.
There you go.
Like that's locked in my memory.
Yeah.
Forever.
He's right. But tennis, funny enough, my mom was a state champion in tennis. My mom won state for her school, and she still has the tennis ball, and she won in straight set. It was 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. Or no, 6-2, 6-2, 6-4. She basically won like in straight sets all the way across and like dominated. And that's actually where she blew out her right knee because she never got it repaired properly, which is why she had a knee replacement. There you go.
The way my very small private school worked was if you were a girl, your choice was cheerleader or sports team. You had to do one or the other. And because this adorable little socially awkward nerd was never going to be cheerleading material, I was forced to be a bench warmer for the basketball team. And I hated every moment of it.
Oh, and you know why I quit tennis, by the way?
Why is that?
Because our tennis court was the shit because it had all these giant shade trees around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to go play tournaments with other people at their shit courts that were out with no fucking shade. And I was like, that fucking sucks. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the summer.
It's important to stay hydrated.
And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore if I have to go back to their shitty ass fucking tennis courts with no fucking shade. It's like, I like my tennis court that's like out in the woods where like, I don't have to worry about the sun killing us while we play.
Yeah. See, my sister was what you would consider to be a bench warmer. My sister won a state championship in basketball, but they literally had like some of the best players ever to come through whenever she did. And my sister, well, technically, like a lot of people consider her a bench warmer. My sister was more of a role player. Like if you needed someone down low to like get rebounds, that was my sister. My sister could box out like with the best of them. Those old Hamilton hips, we got big hips, so we can swing them.
But the one time I got even a glimpse of happiness while playing, it was stolen away from me. The girls' team was practicing during PE one day while the boys sat on the bleachers watching us. During this scrimmage, I was passed the ball and miraculously made a basket.
Yay!
And the thing I have to remember is I never made baskets. I was so bad, I assumed every attempt at competence on my part was going to be foiled by the universe. So when I scored that 2-pointer, I got excited enough to give myself a little cheer. But after the game, I was approached by the boys in my class who had been watching. And I promise you I'm not joking here. These boys had arranged themselves and were posing like a gang of bullies in an anime. With the leader of the gang, the meanest boy in class, dead center with all the other boys surrounding him. The leader boy said very coldly, "Hey Rebecca, you acted like you've never scored a basket before in your life."
That's because I didn't there, swoosh. Jesus. How much more gel you gonna put in your hair?
And the boys around him all laughed. Well, I was so shy and sensitive and non-confrontational that I just blushed and ran away, tears welling up in my eyes. Ugh, kid. Sure hope you enjoy your future of loveless marriages that both end in divorce without custody.
Damn. Woo!
Sometimes happen in a person where you are very good at something, but hate doing it with every fiber of your being. Enter softball. My parents signed me up for a league outside of school.
Audience that jump scared the crap out of.
Yeah, I probably got quite a few of them.
I think about the time I started middle school, and my big mistake was showing I had natural ability. I somehow picked up softball skills very quickly and was actually a pretty good player. The problem was I was only a good player during practice. Because here's something fun I discovered only just this year in my late 30s. I've had an undiagnosed anxiety disorder for my entire life.
Sounds about right.
So when it came time for game day in this softball league, I would get so nervous that all of my skills flew out the window, especially when I was up to bat. Boo! Did that work? Did I scare you?
Nah.
Live action, Becca, what are you doing here? No, seriously, what are you doing here? You're kind of creeping everybody out. Just felt like this next bit was getting a little too wordy for animation, but I think it's important and nuanced and I wanted to be thorough. But don't worry, I have visual aids. So one of the big reasons I dreaded game day in this softball league was my dad. Now, I love my dad. I miss him. He had many great qualities. He showed me so much love and support while I was following my dreams, but he was human and complex and flawed, as we all are. And in this particular instance, he didn't handle things the way he should have. So for my softball activities, Dad became the main parent bussing me around for practices and games, while Mom was more responsible for Rachel's activities at the time. But he became one of those sports dads that took things way too seriously.
You have no idea how familiar that is because of my dad. My God.
I don't think my dad gave a crap.
My dad, okay, I want to set you all the stage. My dad, in a town of less than 200 people, literally a super small town, my dad was so good at being a guard on the football team, like an offensive, like blindside guard. My dad was really good at it. My dad is the only man from his era of 10 years between 1980 and 1990. My dad graduated in 1984. My dad is the only person from his school that got all state honors playing football. Think about that. In the span of 10 years, there's only one person that was all state, and that was my dad. And it was my dad, and here's the thing, my dad's team was shit. They didn't win anything. They literally, the most games they won in a season, they played 10 games a season. You know the most, what do you think the most they ever won was? 3. My dad got all state honors from the state of Virginia for how good he was at playing guard. My dad was very sports passionate, and when I started playing football, my dad turned into that. And he took things a little bit too seriously. He basically wanted me to be like Lawrence Taylor or, Reggie White, because I mainly played defense. I was really good at spin moves and getting into the backfield. And yeah, basically my dad, this turned into my dad.
Because every time I messed up during a game, he would angrily yell at me and scold me on the ride home, lecturing me about what I should have done better. And since I messed up pretty much every game because of my anxiety disorder, this happened almost every single time. And one game was particularly bad. I think I was at the end of my rope. I was burned out and depressed and tired and wanted to be anywhere other than playing center field in this ball game. Suddenly, a ground ball was hit directly to me, and I just didn't get my glove down in time. It passed right through my legs, costing us a couple runs and ultimately the game. And my team was actually really good because this was our first loss all season. All because of me. I was overcome with dread, imagining what Dad was going to say. But one of the worst parts about it was he was so mad that he didn't say a word to me the first half of the drive home. I think a lot of
Oh God. Yeah, I remember after we lost to Norton, we lost 25-19, and yeah, I basically was like edge rushing, and I got back there, and the running back that had the ball, Martinez Miles, by the way, ran right around me, and I saw that he had the ball at the last second because I still thought the quarterback had the ball, and I got faked out. And my dad literally, whenever we got home, he was sitting there at the couch and everything, and as I was walking by, he's like, "You gotta be aware where the ball is, son. You gotta know where the ball is." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Dad. I just got super into, thinking that I was gonna get the quarterback." And he's like, "Son, just do better."
I would be like, what, did you bet money on the game or something? What's your freaking problem?
Well, again, it's just my dad's really passionate about sports. Or at least he used to be. My dad doesn't care about sports anymore, dude.
It's freaking kids playing a game, man.
I know. It's just, once again...
Why do people take it so seriously?
Because, in all honesty, parents, specifically parents that were into sports a lot when they were younger and dedicated a lot of time to it, and were told, hey, you could go somewhere with this. And And then when they went nowhere with it, guess what? They want to impart that unto their... Exactly. They want to impart that unto their children.
And there's people who actually have realistic expectations and know, oh yeah, you're probably not going anywhere with sports. That's like winning the lottery.
But here's the thing. If I ever have a kid, I'm not going to tell them that. I'm not going to, like, completely destroy, like, the idea of them potentially going to the next level.
I'm not going to do it one way or another.
But,
like, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's probably not happening, but I'm not going to freaking put the expectation on them that it has to happen either.
No.
Because it's not gonna.
No, and the truth is, I'm not going to, like, make them, like, want to live up to my expectations. I'm instead going to, like, be realistic with them and just say, hey, if you work hard and you have the talent for it, you could go to the next level. And every time you go to the next level, there's always a level above that. And then there's the big time, like professional. That's when you can get paid a lot of money to play a game. But just be aware, there are tens of thousands of other kids out there who are in the same position you are, and you have an opportunity to do it, but you have to be willing to be better than them. And are you willing to work for that? Some kids are willing to work for it. Other kids aren't. If my kids aren't willing to work for that and they want to go into something else, other vocations, I'm not going to stand in their way. I want my kids to be happy. That's what a parent should want. They should want their kid to be happy and like aware of the dangers of the world so that they can be prepared whenever something bad happens. But anyway, sorry.
You know that situation? That piercing, deeply uncomfortable silence? It made me so anxious that I just couldn't take it anymore. Halfway through the drive, I meekly asked, Dad, are you mad at me? And I sometimes wish I didn't ask because that's when the floodgates opened. He began to scream and yell and rant and rave about my mistake, about letting my team down, my work ethic, etc., etc. He told me that even my coach approached him after the game and asked him, does she even want to play? He then began to scream at me that I shouldn't be playing softball for him, I should be doing it for me, and while that is completely true, the message was poorly delivered. I didn't have any life experience or wisdom at the age of 12 to understand what that meant in that moment. And I certainly didn't have the confidence or the emotional intelligence to help my dad understand my anxiety on game days. In that moment, I was just upset that I was getting yelled at and that I had let my father down. So I didn't end up quitting that season, I just tried harder. I still had the same anxiety during games as I always did, if not more now, but I didn't make any more game-costing mistakes. Now, I don't tell you this story because I want you to feel bad for me or to be mad at my dad. That's the last thing I want. No, I tell this story because I want every kid out there to know that your happiness matters. And just as my dad was ineffectively trying to tell me on that car ride home, you shouldn't do something just because you think it's what your parents want, or what your friends want,
100%.
or classmates, or school, or church, etc., etc. Now, sometimes you have to work with your parents, find a sport to stay active, join a club to learn some skills. But you are allowed to keep searching until you find the right one for you. Just because dad played football doesn't mean you have to. Just because mom didn't fulfill her dreams of becoming an actor doesn't mean you have to.
Repeat after me. I am not an extension of my parents. I am me.
Take this as permission from Mama Becca to advocate for yourselves, darlings. And you know, softball wasn't all bad. I retained
I wish
some
I had
pretty...
done that when I was a kid.
No,
I would have saved a lot of time on stuff I didn't really want to be doing. But here's the thing is, you know what I wanted to do as a kid, my mom wasn't happy with? It's play video games.
And look what you're doing now.
Yeah, I would have been probably in a lot worse health if I hadn't been forced to go play some sports.
That's true, yeah. Well, you want your kids to be active and like be healthy, but
the thing is too, growing up, my mom was like, "You'll never be able to make any money playing video games. Like that's gonna be a useless life skill." And I'm like, "I've since made money playing video games." Like,
yes, you have. Ha ha ha. Yes.
useful skills, like throwing accuracy. Once when I was in high school, a few years after quitting softball, David was outside running around and playing with his best friend, who also happens to practically be my little brother, Brooks. This guy, from this story. Like annoying little siblings, the two of them came up and started talking some crap. And then like little cowards, they ran away. I picked up a spongy water ball that was floating in our pool, took aim, and threw it into the distance. And BAM! Got Brooks.
Nice.
Yeah, hold on, just...
And threw it into the distance. And BAM!
Got it!
Got Brooks square in the head. Ha! Still got it. So, did I ever find a physical activity that I actually liked and was very good at? You bet. And you probably already have an idea of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Slap a fin and some seashells on me and steal my voice because your girl is secretly a mermaid.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, boom boom.
Swimming and scuba diving became my main sport, and Mom was my big support in it. Kinda helps that she liked it just as much as I did. Because of being on the swim team in early childhood and then taking on scuba diving, I have always been exceedingly comfortable in the water, even to this day. It's probably the one physical skill I take any morsel of pride in. Even though I never competed on a swim team in middle school or high school, I still had some skills. One time, my parents signed me up for marine biology camp, and because the campers were going to spend a lot of time in the water all week, the camp counselors made us take a swim test. We basically just had to swim the length of a large swimming pool back and forth one time, and the counselors insisted it wasn't a race. We could take our time completing it. But one girl in the group kinda forced my hand. She was bragging a lot about being on her swim team back at school, and all of the other girls were fawning all over her and hyping her up because of it. And me, being a competitive chubby girl looking to prove herself at all times, said, "Oh, it's on." Ready, set, go, and I was off like a torpedo. When I say all the self-esteem I had left in my heart was on the line, I mean it. I was gonna prove to everybody at this camp that I was the true queen of the sea. I shall be the one millennial middle school girl with a marine biology phase who actually becomes a marine biologist. Steve Irwin will be so proud! Girls were dropping left and right, having to stop in the middle of the pool to catch their breath. I couldn't even see swim team girl, but I didn't care. This single race that's not actually a race will forever change the course of my entire life! Woo! Look at you go, Rebecca! Woo! Okay.
I was gonna say that's the most important part. Did you beat her or not?
Success!
I think that time I took it too seriously. And I don't want to disparage poor swim team girl too hard. She's allowed to take pride in the skills she worked hard for, just as I took pride in myself that day. You just can't be braggy about it, okay? That goes for you too. I think the whole moral of this video should be boiled down to this. Pursue the sports and activities and hobbies that get you excited. Something where you wake up every day and you can't wait to push yourself and get better. Not because you think it's what someone else expects of you.
Correct.
Now what I expect of you is to make it safely out of my woods and enjoy the cold weather. And keep an eye on your ghost pets. Thank you so
Becca? Well,
That's
damn.
interesting.
Well, damn. Monster animation by Aaron Keyser. Okay.
I wonder if like the strange like little horror bits that she's adding in are like leading up to something she's planning.
Maybe. I mean, we are past Halloween, so I think we might be past that. But
It might have been because she released this on Halloween that she even added that stuff, but I don't know. That's interesting.
yeah, it was right after Halloween. But in all honesty, I mean, whatever it's leading up to, I mean, hopefully this. I know that Ghost Charlie is like a new part of her lore, and I like that because I love Charlie or the bass. Yeah, I love. Yeah, I want more Charlie stories. If you have any more, Becca. I mean, I understand if you don't, but yeah, this whole deal with like Becca doing like everything Becca was talking about, I basically agree with almost 100%.
Yeah, from the sound of things, she'll probably have quite a few more stories coming up because she hinted at a bunch of stuff that's been going on in her life recently. So
Yeah,
if she doesn't want to keep it all private, she may be letting us in on some of it.
maybe.
Apparently, she had another surgery.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
She might do a video about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, hey Becca, just out of curiosity, I'm asking for a friend. You dating anybody? I'm just joking. You don't have to tell. Yeah.
She said she was talking to somebody in that hint too. So.
Okay. Well, it is what it is.
So it was like, here's a hint of like all the things that have been going on in my life recently, and like one of them was like looking at the phone with like hearts on it and stuff, and it's like, talking to someone.
Well, damn, Nick. Didn't know you made your move so soon.
Nope.
I'm just joking.
Nope, the community let me down. Nobody went and told her I have a crush on her, so you guys suck. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are awesome.
Oh, damn, dude. So, yeah, alright. Anyway, I guess that's going to do it, everyone. So, let us know what y'all thought. And let us know if you all have any sports stories that you wish to share with us. But for now, I guess that's going to do it. So, till next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care of yourselves. Peace.